remember that conversation we had a year ago, maybe. After, what, a lifetime?
Several.
After several lifetimes of the conversation of why are you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? I remember it clicking into place for me when you talked about it. Serving protective function. The people pleasing. I didn't understand that was you doing the same thing as me.
I gathered that from
the multitude of not so subtle ways I expressed it.
I was gonna put it in a
more compassionate
way, yeah. But yes, yeah, I gathered. I think we both had a learning curve there as well, because to me, what you were doing in always, like, you'd respond quite aggressively. I was going to say assertively to people, and that felt really threatening to me. It felt like you didn't care whether or not we were in danger because you were prepared to deal with it.
Yeah, I see how that looked that way. I was a little bit fast and loose with dangerous situations.
When we learned about the fight, flight, freeze, fawn response, I think that made a big difference on both our sides, because I could understand them. It's literally hardwired. It's wiring. Like, the brain has sensed a threat and it has chosen to activate a nervous system state to deal with the threat, and you default to fight. If there's a tiger coming at you, you're gonna pick up a stick. Whereas I'm gonna
offer it a cup of tea. I'm gonna hit you. That's not very compassionate.
I'm gonna have to edit so much of this.
I think it's quite an authentic view, really. Yeah. No, I remember it changed a lot for me. When I could see that people pleasing was prioritizing us. I thought you were saying we didn't matter as much as them. And that really, really irritated me. And then same, yeah, when I could see that it was just the brain had selected this nervous system state, it had been effective, it selected it again. It was never about prioritizing other people's emotions over ours, it was prioritizing ours. It just felt like you had to deal with theirs for us to be safe. And that meant not being able to feel ours. It wasn't a choice you were making.
I think it really helped to show that we were both coming from the same, like, the intention was the same. We were both prioritizing ourselves, each other, over the other people that we considered threats, and we were both dealing with the threats. It's just that coming from both perspectives, like, it really doesn't look like that.
Yeah. It's not how I do it. It took a long time to understand how it was similar in a lot of conversations.
Same. But, like, it wasn't that you didn't care about how much danger we were in, it's that you were so confident in your ability to deal with it that it didn't feel as threatening to you. Like, if anything, that's quite a lot of self-trust. It started from talking about denial as the host defense, because it's something that we've experienced a lot, and that I know I've had to deal with, God, for years. And I remember having a conversation with you about it with other parts of me as well, that you were kind of having to mediate at the time while I fused, currently I fused. And I remember having the understanding suddenly that denial felt like I was dismissing our experiences in a very re-traumatising way, and some parts of me just hadn't understood that. And I remember understanding that and explaining how it was for me to experience, like, oh, this is just suddenly I see how real our experiences are and how real, you know, my whole system is, and in the parts of me that are hosts, seeing that tangible, uncontrollable reality is what triggers the denial, because I'm suddenly like, wow, that's real, and then it just like activates. And I think it was you that...
Yeah, I remember the conversation. I remember when you explained it like that, I realised it was about safety. I hadn't got that before. I did think it was an intentional dismissal. I thought that you were just doing it to annoy us.
Which makes sense when you think about the kind of beliefs and self-view and worldview we were taught.
I remember understanding that it was about safety and starting to work out, what can I do instead?
That was the first time that we'd really approached it like that. It was like so long of just clashing with each other, and then you asking, oh, well, how do I make you feel safe when it goes off? I didn't really know, like, I hadn't thought of that, and I just felt really seen and really loved and really safe. And I really appreciated that. It's really weird if you don't immediately and aggressively get defensive when I say nice things to you.
Does it make you want to escape instead?
It makes me not know how to respond.
It helped. It helped to understand that denial was a defense that was triggered. That it was about you feeling unsafe. It changed how I deal with it. Usually, if you could suddenly see uncontrollable evidence of my existence, and you'd freak out, and denial would hit. I think I used to respond less than compassionately.
I understand why that would make you angry though. Like seeing how it looked, how it was from your perspective as well.
I think I just try and like absolutely shove my existence in your face very, very dramatically.
Very like, I exist, what are you gonna do about it?
A little bit. That must have helped with the denial.
Massively. No, really, massively. It was a bit like, it wasn't the gentlest way. It was very much flooding, but also when I'd be thinking like, oh, I'm trying to control my body or what I'm saying to make it stop, and I couldn't control you and you'd keep talking or moving, that really did help to reconfirm, like, that made it so clear that I wasn't faking this, even though in the moments it was a little bit terrifying, but it was helpful for the denial actually. Yeah, when you started working out how you could make me feel safe when that happened, I know that was different, that was new. I remember like you start drawing something and I'd have a moment of being like, I can't draw like that, I don't hold the pen like that, I can't make my hand stop right now.
You could tense it and wreck the lines though.
Is that your main takeaway?
That was my main concern, yeah.
I'm sorry. But I remember it changed from like you shouting at me for having that response, to like recognizing that something had made me feel unsafe, and then you'd start just speaking to me more reassuringly. And I do remember you throwing cold water in my face.
That's nervous system regulation, you know.
It did get me out of the fight-flight response, which is terrible because I feel like I really didn't want that to be reinforced as a behaviour. But definitely as we've gone and the more it's stopped affecting me so much as well. Like, I'm not getting hit with denial right now. We're having a full-blown conversation, but it's just I can feel like your presence, everything, the way the body moves, like it's separate to my movements when I move it. It's just so there. And I used to lose touch with that, and that was really scary. Like, I know that's what the denial would do as a defense, but it was also really scary to like dissociate from the feeling of being able to tell you were present and think, oh, this must mean you've disappeared. But I don't lose touch with that now. The denial doesn't make that happen. Like, you're just so solidly there, and that makes it easier, I think, for you to move and for you to respond while I am as well. It's made it so much easier to co-front together as well. But I think what changed it really was you starting to learn, oh, how do I make you feel safe when the denial gets set off as a defense? And after the period of throwing cold water in my face, then doing things like speaking reassuringly, using the right affirmations,
Reminding you that we don't have to present as one person to be safe. And that I'm not going anywhere.
See, just the difference in tone makes that way more comforting.
Here to help.
And I appreciate you for it.